This module wouldn't be complete without getting a shell. By combining cross-site scripting vulnerabilities with client-side attacks, we can attempt to redirect our victim to a web server hosting malicious HTML. This will happen with minimal user interaction. In the next scenario, we'll set up a Metasploit Internet Explorer client-side exploit and redirect our victim to it. The HTML code that we will send to our victim looks like this. This will effectively redirect our victim to our attacking web server. So let's set up our evil HTTP server using the Metasploit framework. I've got everything set up in advance. Let's just look at the options that we will be using in this exploit. And let's run it. Alright, so our evil HTTP server is listening on this address. Let's proceed with sending our malicious email to our victim. And let's send that off. And let's look at what happens on the victim side now. The victim gets the email, and as he opens it, he gets redirected to our malicious HTTP server, which proceeds to exploit his browser and get code execution. A little trick I thought I'd mention while on the topic of client-side attacks and the Metasploit framework. Once we get our reverse Meterpreter shell from the client, effectively we're running Meterpreter in the iExplore process space. If the user should close their browser as it becomes non-responsive, the shell would probably die. The Metasploit framework supports process migration, which allows us to migrate our Meterpreter into a different process space. For example, if we migrate Meterpreter to a system process, our session would not be killed when the victim closes their browser or log out of their computer. The only drawback to this is that depending on the system process you migrate to, you might reboot the computer while exiting the Meterpreter shell. Let's take a look at this. Before we start, let's find out the privileges that I'm running with. Wonderful. So we're running with administrative privileges. This means that we'll be able to migrate to any process we like. Let's get a list of running processes on the machine. And this is the list of running processes. Let's attach ourselves to a system process, such as this one. So I'll migrate into this process number. And the migration completed successfully. And now you'll notice that even if the victim closes Internet Explorer as it becomes unresponsive, very hopefully our Meterpreter shell should still continue to live. Let's just take a look at this as I'm running it on both sides. So I'll execute a command prompt, and look at that. A shell appeared on the victim screen. Let's just interact with it. And obviously this is bad, as we do not want to have popping shells on the victim's screen. So another little Metasploit trick is to use the capital H parameter, which hides the shell from desktop interaction. So let's run this now. And as you can see, no shell appears on the victim screen. And we're not running in the context of Internet Explorer anymore. If you don't choose the right process, exiting the Meterpreter shell might reboot the machine. So you need to do a bit of reconnaissance and find out which processes are exit safe.